We're in this.
What's up, everybody?
What's
oh
up?
my God, that was a good way to stall. Welcome back, everybody, to the Carlos Taco Show. We're your hosts, Miss Patty, Carlos. I got Mary Lutz to be on pretty soon. What do we got tonight?
Okay, we might be winging it tonight. We had two special guests, but there was another conflicting event, which tonight was just a busy night in Antioch.
Yeah.
We had the school board meeting. There was another very important meeting. But it's us two. Hopefully we can have our one guest join. I sent him the information, but he's also traveling, so taking the time out. We appreciate everyone that just takes a moment because it takes time, but we're gonna do our best to get anyone on the show that wants to share happenings, amazing things their organizations are doing, leaders that are looking to lead and do what we do in the city. Is my sound coming through okay?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
perfect.
Cool. We just left the school board, and there wasn't a quorum, so I think we could talk. Let's see, did Damon Owens, did he send you something to air?
He sent us a video to watch. I don't know if we want to. Let me turn my fan down a little bit here. Getting hot flashes.
I guess real quick.
Go ahead.
Real quick, we could just talk real quick. There's a lot going on in the school district, y'all. Like, we need to hold everyone accountable. Leadership didn't show up to slow the process of accountability. So we need to keep voting, stay alert, stay alive, and just pay attention to where our tax dollars are being spent. Right. And it's not to the best interest of students. But it was amazing that even though there wasn't a quorum, they said, okay, y'all, so in a school district, there's different district representatives. We have Gary Hack, right, Mary Rocha, Dr. Clyde Lewis, Dr. Jag Lathan, and Mr. Antonio Hernandez. And so in order for them to have a quorum, they needed 3. Multiple people said they saw Gary Hack driving around the parking lot, so they chose not to show up. This is the second time that Antonio tries to schedule an emergency meeting after the clear bullying of staff. And so by bullying, I mean they put a staff member's desk on a rooftop with a forklift. Greetings. Hello, Damon Owens.
Hey, Pastor.
Hey. What's up, y'all? My apologies for being 3 minutes late and being tardy for the party. My apologies for that. Hello, Miss Patty.
Hello.
Carlos Tacos, how are you?
Oh, good, my goodness. We were just debriefing on the Antioch school board meeting that just went down, and it didn't go down. It didn't go down because I mean, it was 3 folks that didn't show, but the community showed up. And the community had a lot of concerns. And hopefully we just keep showing up and holding our electeds accountable, because education, the quality of education of our students matters so much. So yeah, I want to welcome you. Okay, y'all, this is Pastor Damon Owens. He's an amazing person. We've seen him around in community here and there. I've attended some of their workshops for the youth. Nothing but beautiful things for the community. So thank you.
Is he still there?
Thank you, Damon, for being here with us.
Yes, I'm still here. Yes.
Oh, there you are. All right.
All right. I'm still here. Thank you so much for that, Miss Patty. Thank you.
Yeah, and we were able to whenever you want us to show the after you talk or before however we were able to upload the video so we could show that later after whenever you're ready.
Beautiful. Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, I can tell you that I'm honored and I'm also privileged to be invited to this platform. Um, I don't take it lightly, and I didn't want to miss it. Um, I'm 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 2 hours ahead, so it's 10 o'clock here. It's 10:05 here, 8:05 there in California. So
Right.
I had to jump off out of one meeting and come into this one, and because this is important to me. Community matters are important to me. Community advocacy is important to me.
Yeah.
And like you, Carlos, I think it's important that one thing about trauma and people who experience adverse experience or adversity, it robs you of your voice. When you experience a lot of rejection, dejection, and abandonment, it robs you of your voice. So when it's time, when they ask you to raise your hand and you think it's a safe space and it may be a safe space, but for some reason you feel as though that you're not worthy to
Right.
raise your hand, or you may feel as though that your voice doesn't matter. And there's a lot of people, thousands of people within our city who feel that way, and they need a Carlos Tacos. They need Patty, Patricia to advocate for them and to listen to them and show empathy for them and to um, be a voice for the voiceless and speak up for those who can't speak for themselves. So I appreciate y'all.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
That was
Pastor.
deep. That happened tonight too. There was a parent and English wasn't her first language. She was
Hmm.
nervous. She was shaking, and everybody knew. Oh, Patty, she speaks Spanish. All right, like let's do this. It was hard not to tear up to read
Right.
how she felt about her situation and her children with autism and the support
Mm.
that she's not getting from the district. Oh my gosh. It was so deep to hear these families and the bullying that their children are receiving, and then it's obviously happening in the district, and I'm happy to help and be a voice to the voiceless and advocate and lift everyone. So yeah, and thank you for everything that you do. I've only seen you work silently, but if the moments that I walked in or I see you, it's just you're inspiring the youth, and you've got a safe space creating this future, and it's just so beautiful what you all have going on at Genesis Church.
Mm.
um
Thank you.
we need more of that, and I would love to learn if we could learn about any programs,
Yeah.
anything that that you have going on in your organizations. We'd love
Mhm.
to hear about it. um
Yeah,
yeah,
we're better. We're better together.
yeah.
Um, I found some disparaging statistics. There was a census during COVID that most of us took in 2021, and we got the numbers back. And in the 94509 part of the city, I think it's the north side, or yeah, north side, which is by East 18th, Cavallo Corridor, Sycamore. Um, yeah, there's thousands of people who earn less than $50,000 a year. um, there's about 7 to 9 thousand, or maybe more, who earn less. The last affordable housing complex or housing that was actually built on that side of the city was many, 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 many years ago. The housing that I thought was affordable isn't affordable, and I found out the other day that the average rent in that space. Now, this space is not the most cutest space. It's dilapidated. It's old. Looked like it was built during the Brady Bunch era. Y'all remember the
Mhm.
Brady Bunch? I'm kind of telling my
Yeah.
age, but the
Yeah.
average, but the average rent in there is $2,100, And I'm like, y'all paying $2,100 in this? None of the beautiful amenities. The grass is overgrown, and if it is cut, it's no longer grass; it's weeds. Um, and I can only imagine what it looks like on the inside. But that is part of the most affordable um, piece of property that they can afford to rent or lease. And that really broke my heart when, and a lot of these people who make anywhere between $25,000 a year to $53,000 a year, they live and work within the city limits, meaning they won't go no far further than Bay Point to work, or they'll go no further than Oakley, or the Brentwood, or maybe Oakley to work. So these four cities, they either commute, ride a bike, or they ride public transit or get a ride to work, and they're struggling to make ends meet. Their change is strange. Their money is acting funny. Instead of having more month at the end of the month, more money at the end of the month, they have more months at the end of their money, and that's tough. And it pushes you to survival mode, um, and when you're in survival mode, you're willing to do whatever it takes in order to feed your family. Um, in a positive way. Some of us they may do Uber or Instacart. Others, man, may take what you have, or they may operate in underground black market activity. No matter what, all of us want to live. All of us, don't want to struggle, but the struggle is real, and
Right.
there has to be policy that advocates for those people. There has to be workforce development programs. There has to be jobs, because anytime your biggest employer is the Antioch School District, to get into the Antioch School District as an employee to work is like getting a root canal. I've never had a root canal, but I
Oh,
heard it's very painful, right?
right.
It's hard. The second largest employer is Walmart. The third largest employer is Kaiser. What do you have outside of service work and fast food and restaurants, right? You're limited on what you can actually do in East County. I'm sorry.
Now,
I don't mean to rant. I don't mean to go off on a rant like that. I'm sorry.
no,
No.
that's good. Look, so the thing with Antioch, and me growing up in Antioch at some point thought, oh, maybe I could be a teacher here. But part of me was like, oh, hell no. Like, the people that are there are comfortable and cozy, and they're not going anywhere. And then years later, it's the same people mostly. And then it's still the same people with this contract, and then being on staff, and there's an exclusivity in the city. But I went to a job fair recently, and hey, Miss Nicole, we're talking community, our statistics, our students, our youth, job opportunities, healing. It's an open discussion. But anyways, there's going to be about 70. They said that there's going to be 70 openings, supposedly 70 job openings in the city of Antioch. So I've
Oh,
heard of
nice.
people wanting to apply to the school district, and they got turned down when they were very qualified. And I think it's a culture thing that they're not opening up those gates to people, to our community, because they did. I'm sorry to say it, but there was campaigns to get our town back, and seeing people that are outside of Antioch as less than. I saw it in the language referring to, oh, inbreds from blah 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 from Little Oakland. We came from Santa Clara because gentrification, and our rent kept going up. Came all the way to Antioch, but there's a lot of families that experience the same thing. And then we're here, and then something happened similarly. Rents went up. But we created policy over time, and that was to put a cap, and that was to prevent harassment. But it's still happening. So what do? Um, those statistics that you read from the census, I mean, that affected a lot of people too. We need more counselors in our schools. Yes, we do. Kids were really affected 2020. And also physically in the brain. They did some brain scans on and the folks that were affected the most was the youth, and the sudden change to have to adapt to what was happening around us. And it's sad, but looking now, I'm like, when I've seen organizations like yours, Damon, and if many others, the one with the heart and the praying hands, there's different churches that are doing the groundwork for our kids and our youth, and for our communities. So yes.
And I think in order for us to get there,
Uh-huh.
I think my for the past 3 years, I've been very intentional, or we've been, not me, but we've been very intentional on collaboration,
Mm.
collaboration and interdependence. That I got to depend on Miss Patty. Miss Patty has to depend on Carlos. Carlos has to depend on me, and it's an even exchange. They call it PPP, private public-private partnership. We can't avoid public policy. We got to engage with
Mhm.
public policy, but we also gotta
Mhm.
gotta make sure that we engage with the private sector too, right? Um, and those partnerships are important. There's intersectionality between both, and how do you marry or engage those two spaces? It's a fine line. Both of them will cause you to maybe get gray hair and lose your mind and get angry and upset because the bureaucracy of politics, they take so long, but the need is great. And then on the private sector, whether it's nonprofit organizations like churches, they play a significant role as well. But when it comes to our youth, they have to be a priority. My
Mhm.
wife, she wrote her first grant,
Mhm.
and I didn't know she was a grant writer like that, but it got approved to the board of supervisors,
Nice.
and we didn't have to change the name. We applied through the name of the church, Genesis Church, so we didn't have to create a CDC or Community Development Corporation. And we stepped out on faith and we applied. And we knew that there was a problem when it comes to youth, teenagers who have low grade point averages. The likelihood of a teenager with a grade point average less than 2.5 going to Cal or taking the ACT or SAT
Mhm.
is not going to happen. They're not going to get
Mhm.
accepted. Then more than likely they're going to get rejected.
Mhm.
Some kids are not wired for college. They're not looking to be in this big, huge lecture hall with 400 people taking a math class or taking a history or political science class. But
Mhm.
there's other avenues of success
Mhm.
outside of college. So we applied for this grant, and it's called Think Big, the Think Big Initiative. And the purpose at Think Big exists to try to come alongside youth between the ages of 11 to 18 and provide a safe space where they can get trauma informed care. They can be a part of a homework club. They can get mentored into different trades, um, whether it is being an electrician, an AC technician, whether it's driving a bus or public transportation. We're partnering with the CCLC, which is the Contra Costa Labor Council. We're partnering with Silicon Valley, and to come alongside us to try to help these kids get exposed. That's what Think Big means, to expose them to other ways by which they can get money, right?
Mm.
And provide for
Mhm.
their family and to find their purpose and to find joy and significance, right? In
Mhm.
what
Mhm.
they want to do. So we're excited about
Mhm.
that.
Yes, Nicole, does that answer your question? That's one of the big ones. Think big, the partnership, and that space for the youth right now. Are the slots filled? Have you identified the students that'll be getting helped,
Um,
or?
right now, we started on 2 Wednesdays ago.
Mhm.
We go from 4 o'clock to 8:30.
Mhm.
Now, if the kids are not Christian, it's okay. You can go from 4 to 7 if
Mhm.
Christianity is not your religious practice, right?
Mhm.
But if you want to stay, you can. So we're not forcing Christianity down anybody's throat. However, if you want to be
Mhm.
with the other children, that's cool too. But from four
Mhm.
to seven is where you get the tutoring. Like right now, we need math, we need algebra tutors and calculus
Oh.
tutors.
Oh,
Mm.
okay.
You know, right? Geometry tutors, right?
Yeah.
Just
Mhm.
because you have a 2.0, you still got to take the class.
Mhm.
Homework
Mhm.
is still due. So we have a lot of kids who are behind when it comes to, so we get their transcripts, and we have folks at our church who look at the transcripts, and they've been working with these kids so that they can get the extra credits and get the
Mhm.
necessary homework so they can get caught up. But no
Mhm.
one's taking the time. Now, do they have parents? Yes, but their parents don't have the time, or they're frustrated, or they work. It's hard to come home and to deal with that after you jumped off of Highway 4 for the past 3 hours. It's difficult. So we're
Thank you
just here
for
to help.
acknowledging that. Thank you for acknowledging that and the struggle. Hey, Mary. The that support, I saw that there's going to be an upcoming mentorship for parents even. And
Mhm.
I'm just thinking, I have neighbors, my beautiful neighbors, that they work hard. They come in and out of their like medical whatever, but the kids, they're there, they're dropped off, and we're creating our own little village. But the struggle for modern day parents is real. Um, and it's a lot. There's so many reasons behind it. Mary, you jumped on a great time. There's going to be, I was just talking about the parenting mentorship that's coming up. That's going to be offered by Mrs. Owens.
Oh,
Um,
fun. That's great. So,
yes.
so is the parenting mentorship, call me naive, is it a seasoned parent mentoring a new parent?
Well, we're it's called Help. I'm a parent of a teenager, and initially, because man, parenting teenagers is a full time job. We have 13-year-olds that are dealing with 33-year-old issues.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, and it's complicated when you have a 16-year-old who is potentially dating a 35-year-old man.
Oh,
mm,
gosh.
It's complicated when you
mhm,
have a teenager who is 13, who's just 12, 13 years old with a sexually transmitted disease,
mm,
right?
That's
mhm,
It's
terrible.
that is difficult
But
when 16, 15-year-old girls and boys are being sex trafficked out of these
mhm,
beautiful homes in Brentwood and Discovery Bay.
I've
mm,
heard all sorts of stories. I have 5 kids of my
mm,
own. 3 of them are adults now, 22 and 23. And then I've got a 15-year-old and a 17-year-old in high school
God bless
mm,
you.
at Deer
Yeah.
Valley. Thank you. But my daughter, she had friends that would go to school every day, and that, you know, in order to get the things they wanted, were sex trafficked. I mean, I know for a fact, and I finally told Marissa, Marissa, I don't want to tell you to turn your back on your friends, but you either need to report it or remove yourself from the situation, because it's just too easy. The kids
Yeah.
are talking to each
mhm,
other, and then they introduce them to the person who they think is helping them, who's not helping them at all.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, no, fine. There's a need for that. I was almost sex trafficked here in Antioch many years ago. I didn't know it. I didn't know it, but I stepped into those spaces and then I was like, "Oh, okay." And I
Yeah, and I was
realized,
I was told that mothers that look just like me and, possibly his wife, I don't know what she looks like, were walking up to people in Starbucks and McDonald's where kids were hanging out and luring them out that way. Because, the
Oh my
kids think,
goodness.
oh, this is a mom.
It's crazy.
I can trust her to help me.
Mm,
And there was no trust.
yeah.
So,
Women who are influential, who look like good moms,
mhm.
can become pimps too.
And that's what I was hearing about.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you go by Mr., by Doctor, by Pastor?
Pastor.
Just Damon is good.
All right.
I'm not caught up on titles and stuff like that, or Mr.
Damon,
Owens, whatever you want to call me. Yeah.
God bless you for setting up this group.
Mr. Pastor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's called Help. It's called Help. I'm a Parent.
Okay.
Quote unquote restored. It's going to be Friday, May 3rd. Friday, May the 3rd.
Is it a one-time event, or is
No,
it
this is going to be this is going to be in person. It's free.
Nice.
Okay.
Child care is provided. We're going to have some food, and we're going to have a transparent panel conversation in order to strengthen our community, to bring solutions, advocacy, and support for these parents, because they're overworked, underpaid. Number one, they're struggling with trying to make ends meet. They have their own relationship issues, whether they're married or not. But now they have to contend with the complicated issues of social media, artificial intelligence, and all this other stuff, and temptation out there that our children, are dealing with at a faster and higher level. Help! I am a parent of a teenager, right? These parents, not just single mothers, but even couples that are married or not married, they need support too.
Oh, 100%.
So Friday, May 3rd at 7 o'clock.
Do you have opportunities to people outside of your church and your nonprofit to volunteer?
Absolutely.
All right. I'm going to be there.
Yep.
Nice.
Oh, let's do it.
May 3rd. Wow.
How did you get the statistics about the people in District 1 and their income?
It's through the yes, it's through the 2021 census. That's census data.
So I have another question for you, and you may or may not know the answer. Is prices for housing are high? Housing's a hot topic right now, especially affordable housing and evictions. Do the people that are in these income levels, are they also getting assistance to pay for their homes? Even if they're working a job, or is it just multiple families that are all stacked up and is as much as they can into a place legally?
Well, I can tell you that people are trying to do the best that they can.
Yeah.
They are, if you can rent out a room, right? You have that situation. You have family members who are trying to make ends meet that way. Yeah, people are being very creative in order to get the rent paid. And it's very stressful because you got to do it month in, month out. Sometimes you may not get the rent paid until maybe the 15th or the 17th of the month. Before you know it, man, May 1st is here. On top of that, because you're late, there's late fees, right? So you're always behind, or you're always in the hole. So is it a financial management thing? Possibly. But we have a solution for that. We're going to be rolling out. It's called the Faith in Business, Economic and Financial Empowerment Symposium to help people with budgeting, man. And because I found out that people with bad credit who live in these places, when you have bad credit, it's more expensive in America. Your interest rates are higher. The food costs more. And America or capitalism pimps the poor in that way because of the lack of financial knowledge. So we want to make sure
Mm-hmm.
that we teach people, not give people a fish, but to teach them how to fish and bake their
Mm-hmm.
hook. And they can go
Right.
out there to the Delta and not only catch the fish, but clean it, fillet
Mm-hmm.
it, right, and cook it.
Good job.
Yeah.
So,
Question.
go ahead.
So that kind of financial literacy teaching, imagine like that's something that I would have loved to learn in middle school, high school, like a little bit more financial what is that? Family, what's that called when your
Mhm.
family has money? It's like and it's
Financial
handed down.
planning. Yeah.
Financial planning. There's
Mhm.
another term for it where it'll come to me, but pretty much
You
I
mean like
come from
trust fund babies where people are just living off money that they didn't earn? Are you talking about like Brentwood?
there's another name for it. It's um not financial independence. It's like
Financial
family.
security?
Shoot, it'll come, but like we're new to my parents came from Mexico, and so we have no like we have our house that my parents worked really hard for, and
Mhm.
that's
So
it.
you don't have retirement. You don't have long term.
There's another word. I can't think of it.
Describe it without the word.
Where my family is they set me and my brother up. I'm going to set my son up. My
They
son
set you
will.
up with annuities,
No, it's not like a technical
a trust
specific
account.
term. It's like a general term.
Mhm. Mm.
If you think about it, let me know. I'm
Financial.
interested.
Oh, when it comes, you're gonna be like, oh, that's what it is. But
Financial
that
generational wealth,
teaching,
Nicole says.
there it is, generational wealth.
Nicole, why are you not on the
Yeah.
show with us today?
So generational wealth, right, is like, for example, if I were to pass away, I want to make sure that I have insurance on myself, and my insurance is only $25 a month for life insurance. But because I'm older, I'm 50 years old, it may be $110 a month. If I pass away, then my wife Chantel, she doesn't have to throw a barbecue and a GoFundMe, right?
Mhm.
So my funeral expenses are paid, and I'm able to leave. My children don't have to start all over.
Mhm.
The policy is $100,000, $200,000, and they can take
Mhm.
that money, they can blow it, spend it at the club or whatever. Or my goal is to try to teach them how to invest it and to invest in themselves and to
Mhm.
grow that newfound investment that's been gifted to them. So um,
Mhm.
yeah. So the GoFundMe situation is problematic within poor and working poor communities because they
Mhm.
haven't been exposed to those things. They think they can't afford it or it doesn't apply to them. But
Mhm.
GoFundMe is not a good succession plan or generational
Well, not
wealth
only
plan.
that,
I'll just
they
say
they
that.
give you a fees, and if you have over $10,000, you're going to be paying 60% of that in taxes.
Mm.
GoFundMe is not the way to go for anything unless you're doing
Hmm.
Mhm.
small little things.
Getting
Yeah.
property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually met Carlos during pandemic. He asked we joined a walking club, and this is just my story. He really brought who I am out of me because
Yeah.
he brought me down to feed the homeless with him, but he introduced me to other people. So when the Delta Pines caught on fire, he helped me, and Tamisha helped me, and some other charities that Tamisha knew, all got together, and we furnished the houses. We got them gift cards. We got them food. We did all these things for them. And I realized while I was there, how they're telling me their stories. They're telling me how tight it is between paychecks. So Carlos introduced me to Flory, and Flory gave me food that I would bring to the low income housing complexes between paychecks.
Shout out Team
Unfortunately,
Jesus.
I've been caretaking my parents for a couple years, but as soon as she gets Flora gets back to the Philippines, I'm back on that track again, and I'll be looking for helpers, because I think that, you know, we need to help the community in different ways. We need to not only help our homeless and our parents, but we need to help, you know, families with those things at the end of the month that worry them.
And then the folks that don't have a mobile way to get to the churches. So what you were doing then is you were taking the extra and dropping it, delivering. Okay,
Yeah,
Mary.
I would go there. I would go. People would donate their empty Walmart bags for me. Flory would load up my Xterra or send me to Loaves and Fishes or wherever my pickup
I'm gonna
was.
join you. I'm gonna join you with this.
And
My
we would
neighbors
go
were
to
arguing
the apartment complexes,
over
you know,
food.
on like the 10th and the 25th. You know, right when the checks are getting tight, so that people could have their food. And I would get a lot of people out there, and they would be happy. And I feel so bad, but I had to take care of my mom. So, and she would want me to go back out there. So I'm going to do that again as soon as Flory comes back. We've already talked about it.
Okay. I'm going to join you.
But I'd also like to get other apartment complexes, because I only know Delta Pines. I know we got other ones out there.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll be doing outreach this week. Because that's another monster to tackle, housing insecurities and folks facing unjust evictions. Hey, Damon, out of the children that come to get help, are any of them facing like housing insecurities at their homes?
So some of them are. We try to help those parents, but there's limited resources out there though regarding that. I can tell you that a lot of our families, they definitely need help. Food insecurity is a huge problem because it's hard to. We don't have a Winco. Food Max doesn't exist anymore over there in District 1. Rayleigh's is expensive. So you have Antioch Food Center.
I wonder if we could do grocery trips, because Nicole's saying she's got a bus. I'm wondering if we could put even in your church a sign-up sheet for people that want to go grocery shopping on a day, and we could come pick them up.
So watch this. So for the past 9 years, we partnered with the food bank, and we fed, according to the food bank, we fed over 3,800 people last month.
Oh wow!
On Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and we need volunteers. We really need help. So Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we not only pick up food from Food Max, Rayleigh's, Costco, Winco on Thursday. We do it again on Friday, and then we pick up more food at the food bank on Friday, and we gave out all these bags on Saturday morning at 8:30. The line, people are still in their car. The line is all the way down to Wiener Schnitzel and wrapped around the corner.
Oh, I know.
Everyone gets a protein. Everyone gets dessert. Everyone gets dairy, produce, and all that. On the first Friday of every month, their 18-wheeler pulls up from the food bank. Look at that beautiful cat. Pulls up, and drops off 30 days worth of food to the church. I'm talking about we have so much salmon is coming out of our ears.
Nice.
I love salmon.
Literally.
Well,
and so they pull up. So we need help.
Out of your ears part. Call me, because I can go. I'll take it to the people that can't make it to your church.
Literally, my neighbors.
I do it.
Won't go to waste. It won't go to waste.
Yeah. And the challenge with that is that with the food bank, they gotta show up in person and get it, because that's how they're able to get their grant from the government, right? So we take everybody's their number or ID or whatever to make sure to hold not only ourselves accountable, make sure that we're not stealing the food, but also to make sure that they hold themselves accountable with the federal government who's giving them the grant for it. So that's important.
Look at you trying to get
Absolutely.
your cat in on the
I
video.
did. I was like, oh, he felt left out.
All
Oh
right.
man.
I'm babysitting for
Yeah.
Nene's cat. She's going to Disneyland tomorrow.
Oh yeah. Well,
All
I
right,
can
I
have
got a
one of
question.
7 cats back here.
I have a question.
Okay, go.
Question.
Well, what inspires you to lead, Damon? What inspires you to do what you do?
Love.
That's an open-ended question.
Mhm.
In 2 minutes, less than that, I can say that um, when you've experienced both sides of the tracks. I'm from
Mm,
Oakland, East Oakland.
mm,
However, raised in a two-parent household with a working family, you're really in close proximity to people who don't have. And I was blessed and fortunate to have two parents. One was a bus driver, the other one worked at the post office, right? But I was a latchkey kid, and I'm a Generation Xer. And for the record, Generation X is probably the most underparented, undersupervised, underdisciplined generation America's ever seen. Okay,
mm.
we
And we're the
gave birth to the
smartest.
and well, I guess. um,
Some of us.
yeah, we're the smartest. We're the smartest, right?
That's
So
right.
we're the latchkey kids, right? So I've been exposed to all of that, and I have a lot of empathy for parents who are what they're going through right now. And when it comes to trauma informed care and mental health support, man, Patty, that is near and dear to me because
Mhm.
um, mental health is health, right?
Mhm.
And when you're
Mhm.
not whole here, it's difficult for you to be whole in here. In other words, when you don't have inner peace, there's no outer peace.
Mm-mm.
Mhm.
So that's important. Everybody deserves to live in peace,
Mhm.
um, to deserve to have dignity. They deserve to live their best life and to become a better version of themselves if they had an opportunity, if they had a
Mhm.
chance. So it's very important that we collaborate, work together as a community to help
Mhm.
those who can't help themselves,
Mm,
and be in a position where we can put them in the best position to win. Not
Mhm.
everybody's going to win, but at least put them in the best position so that they can win. That's going to require cooperation and
Mhm.
interdependence and collaboration with everybody on this call, everybody who's listening, whether you're part of a church or not. Quite frankly, it doesn't matter. I'm a
Mhm.
community advocate because people need people to advocate for them because they
Mhm.
can't get down to city council. They can't get down to the school board meeting, right?
Right.
For example, our African American males that are in 11th grade in the Antioch School District, and it's in many of our Spanish speaking brothers um, uh, in 11th grade, they're reading at the fifth grade level, sixth grade level. That is a
Mhm.
problem.
That's a huge problem.
That is a problem. When my Latin
Mhm.
brothers and sisters, my Latin brothers are reading at the seventh grade level or sixth grade level, and my African American young men are reading at the fifth grade level. That is
Mhm.
a big, huge pipeline to prison. How do we close
Absolutely.
the prison industrial pipeline? Because these prisons that are publicly traded on the New York Stock Exchange, they making
Mhm.
money off those beds.
Literally. They have a
There's
goal
a
to incarcerate and continue to
Yes, they
incarcerate
do.
people.
Yes,
And
mm.
they
I
do.
know people that have said, "Oh, I have stock in that complex," and I was like, "Oh shoot, like that's real."
Yeah.
I deleted them. I was like, "Okay,
they
for sure,
just
you're one
they
of
just
those."
put out a documentary on the
Really,
privatized prisons where
it's
people were buying
Yeah.
disgusting.
kids basically
Disgusting.
to fill these
Yeah.
prisons.
We need to
Yeah.
educate our youth. We need to have a better education, just teaching. Like, what are we teaching our kids? And so, I mean,
And
it's
then
up to
even
us.
education, right? I don't learn. I learn better in circles
Mm-hmm.
than rows. So
Mm-hmm.
the traditional way of teaching is hella boring.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna sit here and listen to this monotone guy teach me math. He's boring. He don't like me, and I don't like her. Okay, and I'm forced to sit here and listen to this garbage. But
Mm-hmm.
man, if you break me out into a small group or a cohort, And as hands-on, I learned this me. Damon learns better that way versus sitting in a lecture hall and you and I gotta listen and try to take notes and try to catch it. I want to be at a. I learn better when I'm not just listening but doing.
That's how most
And a
people
lot of our
learn
kids
better.
the same way. Yes,
Right,
Well,
yes,
the
Most of our
youth
kids are
is
the
your
same way.
inspiration. You answer my question. It's the youth.
yes.
That's the
You.
youth.
Well,
Yeah.
I know literacy and summer jobs are key. My poor kid, your kids too, everybody's kids are doing the same thing where they're like, my son's like, well, can I get a job this year? I'm like, no, you're not passing your classes.
Bridge builders. Yes, they've
Mm.
been on our show.
Mm.
Johnny Hines. We went to middle school together. Those are my boys. Brandon Pitt. We're from '89. And yes, we need to bring them back on the show and to update us on the amazing things. Over a year ago, they said they were going to start a community garden. Guess what? They started that garden over by the Family Justice Center.
Where?
By the
nice.
Family Justice Center. So they
Nice.
started with the paint. They started with the planter boxes. It's getting there. So
I love it.
bridge builders, if we can support them. Like Bridge Builders is leading a charge also in the
I
community. And you've
really,
met them also, Damon, right? They've come along.
Oh yeah, yeah. Shaman Wright and his team, absolutely
Mhm.
amazing. They're
Yeah.
seeing results. They're getting results. On Saturday, by the way, Mr. Fab. I don't know if you know who Mr. Fab is, but Fabby
Yes.
Davis Jr. He's
Yeah.
going to be in Antioch. He's going to be in Antioch at the Antioch Water Park. Now,
Got the
this
flyer.
thug therapy is his thing.
There you go.
Thug means teaching, healing, understanding, and growing.
oh, I love it.
Now, Fab, he
Mhm.
experienced a lot of trauma, seen a lot of murders. I've seen a lot too, right? Witness was in close proximity. I'm a victim of police brutality. I've seen the exploitation of the police, the crack era mass incarceration. All of that impacted me in so many ways, murder and all that, right? So this platform that Mr. Fab has is designed for men, um, black and brown men, to come together to work together to heal from generational trauma that's been passed down
Yeah.
from one generation to the next. And I don't know how many people are going to be there. He met in Oakland on Wednesday. It was over 220 guys. It was amazing. I don't know how many guys are going to be there on Saturday morning at the Antioch Water Park at 10 o'clock. I highly recommend that you get your males there. Get them there. You may know Mr. Fab, you may not know him, but guess what? You will not regret getting your son there. Get your males there, 11 years and older. You want them to be a part of that experience.
Um, Damon, I heard you got a 5 minute
Yeah,
video you want to share with us. You want to let Carlos play that now? Is this a good breaking point?
sure. Let's go.
All right. Here we go. Let me see. Put this up.
Hello, my name is Tina Robinson. I am CEO, founder of Owning My Own Truth, behavior support, outreach specialist, community navigator, advocate against and for domestic violence survivors, trauma victims, suicide prevention, lupus, gun violence. These things are very close to me. I came from a beautiful home. I was reared in a beautiful home. However, as an innocent little girl, I was molested. So that distorted my concept of relationships. Started in 2015 with the assignment after I was almost murdered in 2010 from a domestic violence relationship. To this very day, I still suffer with brain trauma, body ailments. However, I have a burning fire in my heart to go into the unspeakable communities. It's just a gift for me to look someone in their eyes and tell them, you know, you are loved. You are somebody. And even being told that after one event, you made us feel like human beings again. We all come to the table with different gifts, but the dignity and respect has been lost with when the finances come, the funding come. Grassroots organizations are very essential to being credible messengers because most of us have lived with different similar situations that the people that we go serve. I actually connected with Boss like I think in 2017. They heard about my story in the healing circles that I've been doing in the East Oakland community and now West Oakland. It's a safe space where it's like we break bread, and I'm grateful now that we have built up an amazing curriculum of life skills. And with Boss, we started with Hour of Power. Being a messenger for me is just the gift. It's like Christmas to me every day that I can go love on someone. One day in a very community where I was stabbed at 16 years old. Years later, after the abuse and the trauma to my brain, like my brain was swollen for 3 years. He didn't fracture it, but it dislocated my tear glands. Domestic violence. A man that proposed to me. Anywho, that process. But one day I was stepping off the corner, and it's like I felt like I didn't feel my heartbeat. And then I identified I was living amongst the walking dead. So in that moment, I chose to feel my heartbeat, to care. I know sometimes in the process of healing, when you're carrying dormant pain, a lot of people don't know how to release it. So I start by breaking my silence as a guide to where, hey, if I can speak about this, then you can. And in doing so, we're releasing it in order to make room to continue to grow and grow into learning and loving who you are, not what was done to you by those who loved you, but for your peace of mind. Own it,
No.
feel it, and release it. If I see an individual in need, I like to have the supplies to give them some essentials to sustain them, to sustain themselves. You know, if it's a snack, socks, shoes, clothes. I've literally taken my own shoes off and helped a sister or two many times because these are our brothers and sisters, not by blood, but by life. Black, brown, white, we all bleed the same red blood. If your heart hurt, I feel you. But come out and see what we do. See how we interact with the people. Not everybody from behind those tables pushing those papers can walk in the same place I can. Like I'm a little dressed up today, but I like to stay dressed down so they can feel like I'm a part of them. You know, uh, um, it's one of the greatest gifts I have is loving unconditionally.
That was beautiful.
It really was beautiful.
Did you cry, Mary? I think you cried.
I always cry.
I
That's
know.
like my part on the show. That's my role. I'm the one that feels it.
I'm inspired. I'm inspired. Mhm.
Does she go
Mhm.
to your church, Damon?
Tina is actually my cousin.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
She has a twin by the name of Janaea, and they partnered together to create Owning My Own Truth. And I'm so proud of her. She hit the ground running well before COVID, and she's been doing the hard work, the advocacy work. Um, Significant story, tremendous, resilient, smart, intelligent, gifted, um,
compassionate.
compassionate, empathetic,
Mhm.
Yeah.
beautiful young lady in the person
Mhm.
of Tina Robinson. And I'm so proud of the woman that she's become, and how She's been able to endure hardship like a soldier. And anytime you've one thing about healing is a journey to embrace, not a destination to obtain. All of us want to get to a destination of healing. There's when you've been wounded, betrayed, rejected, abused, abandoned, it's hard for those scars to heal. And we try to cover those things up with work, church, relationships, sex, drugs, alcohol, partying, or
Mhm.
have another child, get another man, get another girlfriend, and it doesn't work. You
Get
still
another
have this
cat.
empty void. Hey. So what happens is we put a band-aid on fourth degree wounds, and it never heals. We put a band-aid on third degree wounds or third degree burns. You've been burned in this relationship, burned in that relationship, and the band-aid isn't big enough.
No, that what she's doing is beautiful. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I I recently lost my mom on the 4th of this month.
Wow.
And I have a good friend who's a pastor in Concord. And he told me, Mary, we're going to set up a grieving group. It's going to be for anybody that's grieving, if it's a lost relationship, if it's not enough money to be able to survive, if it's the loss of a parent. And I thought that was a really unique take on it also, that you're around people that, I mean, that may not specifically have the same situations, but they all have the same feelings for the same reason, like what you're saying. They've got a third degree burn, they're trying to put a band-aid on, and they just need to connect with other people who are also hurting. And what is it? It's is that the meaning of a healing circle?
Absolutely. It's some of our mental health challenges could be chemical,
Mm-hmm.
so we may need a clinician. Oftentimes, we don't need a clinician, or we don't can't afford a clinician or a doctor. Some of us just need a safe place and space of like-minded people who share some the same lived experience. And man, Mary, you and I, we're going through the same thing, man. How can I pray for you? Hey, you want to go out and get some Jamba Juice? Let's have coffee. Let's talk about that, Carlos. I know, guys, man, it's hard for us to unpack our stuff. Our wives ask us how we doing. Our family asks us how we doing, and we always say, "Oh, I'm cool, I'm good." But man, it's not good. It's not good at all, and we're dying in silence. And the stress is a silent, and anxiety and depression is a silent killer. So to
People
your point,
die of
Mary, we need those hubs, if you will, where we can unpack our stuff in a safe place.
yeah.
Most definitely. Wow.
And I know that you obviously I'm gonna humble myself for a second, because I don't know a lot of I'm learning. I'm learning. I'm obviously white. I was born with privilege. I don't see things until I'm told or learn or exposed or experience. Do is it necessary to, I mean, I went and I sat with a group of people from Reimagine Antioch, and I learned about like trauma and how it's generational, and that's obviously why I wouldn't fit in like a black or brown community. But is it always necessary that the people are like of the same socioeconomic race? I mean, is that always a necessary thing for these circles? Do you think that that's a better way to do it?
No, ma'am. No, not at all. In fact, that's the only way that we can have create a better community is when I
Mhm.
can empathize with my Asian brother. How
Right.
can I know about Asian hate if I've never been exposed to it?
Right.
Mm.
How can I be exposed to
That's good.
um, the issues of the LGBTQ community when haven't been exposed to um, the problems that they're dealing with, right? How can I know about my Latin brothers and sisters, my Latino brothers and sisters who are experiencing what they're experiencing when I've never been invited or share a safe space with them so that I can hear their story?
Mhm.
Right.
And then that way, if you put me, if I put your glasses on, then I can see life through your lens,
Right.
and I can
Mhm.
have empathy and compassion towards that community or towards that particular person's pain.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I know after the I was so honored I was allowed to that I was invited. It was a community leader group with people that were affected by the police officers, and I obviously was not affected, but I'm an ally, and I didn't really know what an ally meant until I got to hear the pain and the hardships and I felt guilt. I felt a lot of guilt after that, but I feel so much closer to my friends that invited me there than I ever did before I walked it through the doors. Like all of a sudden I was just like, "Oh, you trusted me with this. You trusted me with these feelings."
Mm.
And I
Yes.
haven't experienced it, but I have deep empathy.
Yeah, you do. You do. We
And
love
I'm
you,
the
Mary.
crybaby of the show, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay because that's part of healing. That's part of the
Yeah, it is.
process, and just letting it out, and and that's it's. I love to see it. It's beautiful. Thank you, Mary, for just putting yourself out there and sharing your
I love to listen to you,
vulnerability.
Damon. I've seen you speak a few times.
oh,
Right.
thanks,
Yeah.
thank you.
Speaking of which,
I've seen you speak to the point where my arms, every single goose pimple showed up.
Wow,
I mean,
mm,
wow,
it shook me to the
wow,
core sometimes. So,
wow,
you
wow.
yeah,
have a
Thank you, man.
gift.
Thanks.
You have
we
a
have.
gift, and
Yeah, thank you
Sorry,
so
thank
Mary.
you
much.
for sharing it.
Thank you, thank you.
That gift that Mary speaks of, Mary, you're gifted to. Carlos, you're gifted to. I'd like to invite you all
Mhm.
to this Sunday. If you don't have any other obligations, if any of you would like to come, the audience, pray for us, be present with us. We will be doing a community caravan, a memorial caravan for Catherine Wade's son, Malad Baldwin. And we'll be meeting up
Mm.
around 2 p.m. at the Walgreens parking lot on Deer Valley and Davidson. And then we will do a community caravan in honor of Malad Baldwin to the Antioch Police Department. We'll be there by 4 p.m. And we invite leaders, prayer warriors, victims to just come together and continue to heal because there's a lot of trauma inflicted in our community, and we're not going to be silent about it. And if anybody
Man,
else
I
can
wish I'd
come,
known that. I wish I'd known that. I got a speaking engagement that afternoon at 3 o'clock in San
pray for
Francisco.
us from a
No.
I
distance.
will.
Thank
Let me
you.
know in advance. So I love to be at that stuff, whether with Malal Baldwin or even Angelo Quinto or
Mhm.
whatever they got going on. I want to be able to be there at least.
Mhm.
Not say anything, but just to be there, just to support. Okay.
Most definitely. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you all, you too, Mary. Thank you, Carlos. Pastor Damon Owens, thank you for joining us tonight and just enlightening and
Yeah,
inspiring
thank
our
you.
community, letting us know what's out there. And thank you. Thank you for all you
And
do.
staying up
Carlos,
super late.
making it happen. You
Thank
made
you,
it,
Carlos.
Mary.
Thank
You
you.
went through the school board
We need that extra
meeting.
talk
You made it.
though.
Yeah,
So
school
real
board
quick, the
meeting.
thug therapy again, gonna be this
Mm-hmm.
Saturday, April 27th, 10 a.m. to 2:30 at the Antioch Water Park, 4701 Lone Tree Way, Antioch, California. If you have any questions, contact Elder. What's that? Is it Gigi?
GG.
Gigi
Hmm.
She's another warrior.
51
Holy.
And
510
make sure you send
990.
me a copy of the thing so I can post it on our page and share it to everybody.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And thank you all. Oh, thank you.
Thank
And
you,
thank you all
Honorable.
for tuning in. Go
Thank
ahead.
you.
Sorry. Yeah, thank you, Pastor, for being on the show.
No, I just saw
No problem, Carl.
And
Tamisha Torres. She was commenting in, so I was saying thank you to her. Thank you to Nicole, audience that came through.
Hey, Nicole. Keep up the good work.
Thank
good
you,
show.
Randall.
Thank you, Randall. And
God
thank you
bless
all
you,
for
Randall.
tuning in out there
Mhm.
in TV land. We are
TV
live.
land.
Right.
YouTube land. TV land
YouTube
died.
land, Facebook land. Yeah.
Instagram land. TikTok land. All that.
Right. And hopefully face to face out in the
Yeah.
streets.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
God
you're
bless
welcome.
y'all. Y'all have a good
God
night.
bless you.
God bless
Have
you
a good
too.
night.
Thank
Tune in
you.
again
Good night.
Thursday, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll have another awesome show for you. Thank you all for tuning in. If you haven't already, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Show some love and support, and just tell a friend. Until next time, love, peace, and God bless everybody. You all have a good night.
God bless y'all too. Thank you.